Easy Sports Talk Show with Ed Smith and Javon Adams. My name is Javon Adams. You can call me J or J Love. He is Ed Smith. He is not only played professional baseball, but also played in the National Football League for that first Super Bowl bound team for the Atlanta Falcons. He is an author. He is a motivational speaker. What is good, my brother?
I got paid by him too, so you can say it either way, bro.
However it goes. Hey, quick question. Because I want to get into there's a coaching question that I want to throw out at you. So this might be a drier, shrunken version of the Easy Sports Talk Show. We do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Did the Falcons play yesterday?
No, they played tonight.
They played tonight. Okay,
yeah, they played Philly tonight.
So they better
Oh,
not go 0-2. They better not go 0-2, man.
They might be calling for Kurt be sitting on the seats earlier than we thought, man. Might be pennies time before you know it.
Oh my goodness. So so not in terms of a tenure of a quarterback, because the quarterback is often the most popular position or player on a team. But I want to get into coaching a little bit and your thoughts on something. So Billy Napier is the coach of University of Florida, and he just got stomped out by Texas A&M over the weekend. And they're up in arms over there at the University of Florida because they spoiled. Just like just to take it another example or maybe comparison. I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm spoiled in terms of championships, and there are Yankees fans that are spoiled. So I know I get it. But they want this man out, right? And so that's one of the things that they're talking about with. Let me see something right here, real quick. Boom. So that's one of the things that they are talking about with. Maybe with the donor base, maybe trying to get him out because maybe he's lost the locker room. And I want to throw something out at you, and then I'll ask the question. So Napier was the coach of the Louisiana Raging Cajuns from 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. And I'll go from the wins that he had. He had 7 wins, 11 wins, 10 wins, 12 wins. So of course, when University of Florida's previous coach they wanted him no more, they said, we're going to go get the new up and coming dude, right? We want this dude. This is who we want to coach our squad for our program. And since 2022, Napier has won 6 games, 5 games. And so far in the 2024 season, he's 1-2. So when you lose a locker room, because that's what they're thinking, maybe the players are thinking, man, we just can't do this. When you lose the locker room, are you ever able to get it back? Is there anything a coach can do once he's been perceived to have lost the locker room to get it back?
That's a great question. Here's the thing. Just because you're losing, have you lost the locker room? Or have you lost the boosters? That no longer have the faith in you. They're the ones who are clamoring and chiming to get rid of him. And maybe we're not as good as the boosters and everybody thinks we are. Now, he could probably do a better job in terms of, I've watched a little Florida football. They do not look dynamic. They don't look like old school Florida. So something might be said for the players not out there playing for him. Maybe that's the issue. They're not giving everything they have, and he's accepting mediocrity. I think that would be more of the case than quote unquote losing the locker room. I don't know what type of head coach he is. He obviously did something to get there. Now, and here's the thing, Jay. When you're some of those smaller schools, like you said, the Raging Cajuns, those schools know exactly what they are. So when you go 7-6 or 7-5 and you get into a bowl game, they're like, oh, thank you. I mean, they're like so grateful because that's extra money coming into the school and the program. So 7 wins a season, for the Raging Cajuns, that dude's doing a hell of a job. Now you get to that next level, Florida, who at one point when I was coming out of school, that was one of my potential choices. I went down there and took my visit. I know what they think about their football down there.
Yeah.
Through hell and high water, they think they should be on the level. And for a while they were, and they took some lumps with, infractions and things over the years. But for a long time, you could say they were national championship caliber. I'm not saying they won a bunch or anything like that, but they were always in the thought, just, And in recent times, they've had to take a step back to almost be like a second tier program. The problem is those boosters and people throwing the millions and millions of dollars into and at the program, they're not having that. And that's where the problem comes. So, has he lost? I would have to go deep into his locker room and talk to his players and see what his philosophy is before I could ever say he's lost that locker room. I don't know. I tell you what he has lost. He's lost the support and the backing of the people that pay the bills. And when they're talking about scraping together $26 million just to get him the hell out of there, that's when you know you've outworn your welcome. And that's what it's all about right now. So, I mean,
I'm gonna throw another one at you. This will go to the professional ranks and just throwing it out there. Because again, I'm not trying to advocate for people to get fired, but sometimes I wonder when organizations say, "Well, we find whether it's a school, whether it's a college or university, or whether it's a professional, the owner of a professional team, when they say we want to get the new guy because this is what we have." And again, they have every right to say what we have right now is not good enough. We know that we can get better, so that dude is going to get better. Robert Saleh. So he's been. This is his 4th season with the Jets. So from 2021 to present, so he had 4 victories, 7 victories, and now he's 1-1 so far early on in the season. Now he had a lot of injuries. So and plus, he had injuries, and plus he was deficient at quarterback. Right, his thing is the defensive side of the ball. Is that somebody and I'm bringing this up because when the head coach builds the culture, they're supposed to, with the GM. So whether it's the recruits that you're bringing in, whether it's with the rookie draft picks that you're coming in and the free agents, and trying to make sure that you understand what the culture that we have is. So is that, how do you evaluate somebody who's lost a lot, who's lost some games because of injury? Maybe he's getting marching orders from the GM saying, we want to have a coaching carousel, so to speak, especially last season. How do you evaluate somebody like a Robert Saleh who you hire because he was the hot coordinator, and now there might be some question marks?
The problem with Robert Saleh, he hasn't lost the locker room. It was taken from him by Aaron Rodgers. That's what Aaron Rodgers, when they sold their soul to the devil and brought him in like he was the Messiah and basically turned everything over to him. The way Aaron Rodgers has treated him and run that organization, and he has run that organization. He's told them who I want here to play with me, who I want to be my offensive coordinator, who I want as a backup quarterback, you name it. He's told them anything. He's told them, hey, I had plans already, and that doesn't match up with me being there for the mini camp that we were supposed to have. Y'all gonna have to scratch that because I got stuff to do. I mean, golly.
That does emasculate a coach, right? That does just golly.
Bro, that doesn't even cut him off at the knees. That cuts him off at the hips, bro. I mean, you can so you gonna tell us what to do, but you ain't gonna tell him what to do. He basically over telling you what he is and ain't gonna do.
Ooh.
And that, and everybody knows, that's one of those things where something happens in a meeting, right? And say Aaron's sitting in the very last row of the little thing, and something comes up like, well, what do we think about that? And everybody turn around and looks back at Aaron instead of the front of the room where the head coach is. That type of thing, right? And that is, so for me, Saleh, he's working with one hand tied behind his back because you can't tell Aaron jack squat. You can't tell him anything. And that's a knock on Aaron. I mean, the greatest quarterback of all time till we get another one, that's nipping on his heels. One Tom Brady, marched to the beat of what Bill said for a long time. And when he eventually got tired of it, he left on. But you never heard a cross word from the greatest with 6 titles up there in New England. When Bill said something, Tom was right in step with him. You never heard any controversy. Meanwhile, Aaron going to these Oscar, whatever that stuff he was smoking. Whatever it was. Yeah. And then taking his darkness retreat. Ayahuasca. And then, like I said, they've known the schedule of the season before it even starts, Jay, meaning our off season. They give you a sheet with all the dates for our mini camps, for our these are our workout weeks, our OTAs, all the way up to this is when you guys got your break. This is the first day of training camp. For that man out of nowhere, well, I got something planned, mini camp, and your boy not even being able to say, Aaron, I need you here. No, it was unexcused, but it's something we talked about, and he knew what he was doing, and man, there is no respect. Now this is one of those situations where we've seen parents who let their kids cuss them out, bruh, right? Yeah. And then you're talking to the parent, and all they want to talk about, I don't know what I'm gonna do, little Johnny, and you're looking at them the whole time like you need to grow a pair. You need to whoop that boy's behind, But if you're gonna let them do what they do, then don't be crying. As soon as they leave, they're like, you and Nick are like, oh my God, I can't. Every time I talk to them, it's like, why don't they just get out of my face with that stuff, because they're the ones who started it. So with Salah, you can talk to your players and stuff like that. As soon as he turned his back, they're like, yeah, whatever. Go talk to Aaron. So yeah, he's lost respect. He's lost the room, and he's, like I said, it all started with Aaron coming there and taking control.
All right, so he's Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. So this is a coaching theme on this today's pod. So again, we do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I want one more. Doug Peterson with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now is recency the bias here? So here's the thing. So he's been the coach of, now he's supposed to be this offensive mind, right? Quarterback whisperer kind of guy. So since he's been with the Jaguars, this is his third season with Jacksonville. 9-8. So finished first in the AFC South, finished second in the AFC South. Now he's 0-2. One of the things that coming in, and we talked about him, I believe, briefly last week on the pod, was with why is his name escaping me? With the quarterback, with their quarterback, Lawrence, with Trevor Lawrence, with kind of underperforming. But he's supposed to be that guy that's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. Is this one of those things where you look at your coach and say, we brought you in for this specific task that's not being done, you're not getting it done, time for somebody else to come in? Or do you just keep going, because at least you're not in the same same situation as, say, the Panthers? So you're 9-8, you're barely above 500. But what do you do in a situation like that with a coach that comes in with such a high pedigree, strong pedigree?
That leash gets real short, especially for Peterson, because if nothing else, you're supposed to be improving and winning on your side of the ball. It's one thing for a defense coach to come in. They usually tighten up the defense, and then the offense is lagging behind, and but that's not his specialty. You came in here taking over for Urban Meyer, and their owner is not an owner that you want to piss off. That dude, he's got a quick hook as it is. But you came in, and your only job was to take Trevor Lawrence, make him what we thought he always could be. He is as pedestrian. I watched parts of that game because I was flipping through all of them on the setup and everything. He is as pedestrian as I've ever seen. This dude that was a can't miss could come out after his freshman year in college.
Yep.
And, he's going to be a no miss, can't miss. But he is not doing anything. And, if you're Peterson, the clock is already ticking because they're looking at you and looking at – he's regressing right now. He's not even staying on pace. You see some of these young C.J. Stroud in your division, second year already. People talking about he's a dark horse for the MVP, and you're going to be chasing them. You're not already 2 games behind them in the division, and you got to sit there and watch that. So that's going to be a quick hook if it stays on the pace that it is. And that's one of those situations where he doesn't even have to lose the locker room. That's just you're not doing your job. We brought you in here to make this offense dynamic, make our quarterback the legend that everybody keeps talking about he was supposed to be. Well, I don't see any progress in that. So why are we going to sit around and wait for year 4 and 5 when this is the best it seems like you can do? So that's one of those situations. There's all kind of – remember I talked to you a long time back about that head coach I had up in Cleveland, the short bit I was there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
Little
I thought of.
Napoleon.
Yes,
Little
yes,
Napoleon. That
yes.
dude lost at the very first camp, mini camp we had. He lost the whole room when he come in and talking about, I don't care who you are, where you been in this league. I don't care how many years. You got 1 year, 20 years. I don't care. We do it my way, or you get there. Everybody was looking around. I'm sitting next to Lomas Brown. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, is he serious? He lost the locker room the second he came in, beating his chest. And there's losing the locker room, and then there's just not doing your job. So you brought up all kinds. You got the boosters that want to kick Napier out. You got the dissension. You got the dudes that's just overranked with the Jets, and you got Peterson who's just not doing his job. And it's going to be time for you to go and be a coordinator somewhere else, because you can't have the head title if you rolling like this. So that's very good. You hit all three facets with the choices that you pulled up. So all different examples of what could be going on inside the locker room, and the three different ways you can lose your job.
All right, so leave me with this. We'll leave on some type of positive note. Is there a game or two, or even a performance or two from football Sunday that stood out to you?
Let me see here. Let me look real quick. Oh boy. Let me see. Go down the list.
Because I can tell
here
by being at that Cardinals game, there was the performance, the Maserati Marv, so Marvin Harrison at least tapping into what believed to be a high ceiling for him with 130 yards in terms of receiving and a couple of touchdowns. So that was definitely a performance that was impressive from in terms of being there at that particular event. That was mine. But you got anything?
I'll give you a couple real quick. One, the beatdown that New Orleans went into Dallas and put on them. I know they beat up on the Panthers the week before, so everybody thought that was a smoke screen. They just went over and did it. The Buccaneers going into Detroit and pulling off a victory. Baker Mayfield, stand up and get your flowers. I mean, come on.
Okay, so I heard this on Bickley and Murata coming in from my morning run, that Murata said last season the Bucs were, they're good. They made it to the playoffs. Maybe they're just good. Maybe they are just good. Maybe. And it's kind of hard to, because buying the Baker Mayfield stock that's one of those risky things. But maybe they are good.
He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he fits that organization to a T. And I think Bowles loves him because he's a no-nonsense dude. He's going in there early, leaving late. And I think he's putting it all in. And I think he's out to prove something to Cleveland and the rest of the league, that you jump ship on me a little too early and try to make some things my fault. And maybe he was over his skis a little bit in terms of make commercials and got a little full of his own self. But I think he's in a great spot there in Tampa, in a good division. Look, everybody was talking about how Atlanta was just going to run through that division. Atlanta could be 0-2 by the end of this. Carolina is a JV team, and you will have to compete with New Orleans. But, I mean, that's a pretty good, good prospects there to leading into the season. And I think what Baker has done and is doing, deserves a little golf clap. You got to give it to him. Going to Detroit, they haven't proven anything yet by winning the title, but I guarantee that's not an easy win. There's a lot of teams that are going to take it on the chin because Detroit plays hard, and they did play hard. Tampa just came out with a real gutsy win, and that was impressive. I wish I would have picked that one. I picked a whole lot of losers this week, running behind the favorites.
Oh man! Well, on behalf of the one and only Ed Easy Smith, I am Javon J. Love Adams. We do this again 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tell a friend about what we have going on here. You can go to easysportstalk.com, easysportstalk.com. You can also, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at The Easy Sports Talk Show. Again, at The Easy Sports Talk Show. And as we always like to say around this time, you can